Manatee traffic, Skyhawk November 54067, entering runway 7, staying in the pattern. Manatee traffic.
All right, we got that nose up. Excellent. Just keep it coming around town here. All right, you can start easing in that power. Remember, we want to keep it rolling here. Just be frosty on the rudders here.
Yep.
Ready on that right rudder, and I would shade maybe just a hair to the right of center line here, because that flag up there, up ahead, is on the left side, right?
Right.
All right, so just keep a good back pressure, good healthy back pressure. We're keeping that nose up, popping a wheelie. Still ready for that right rudder. Awesome. And then just waiting, watching outside, waiting for the airplane to pop off the ground. It's going to happen soon. There it is. Now release that back pressure, and we hovercraft mode. We just fly right here above the runway.
Got it.
Low pass Maverick style.
Yep.
Let our airspeed build up to a nice comfortable speed. That was very nice. Very good job.
Thank you.
That was nice.
I'm dumb, but I ain't stupid.
Nah. Let's go. Let's go ahead and put up those flaps.
Yep, that was stupid.
That's okay. We want to wait till you're probably about 100 to 200 feet above the ground before you take out those flaps.
Okay.
Or before you put up the flaps. Because you lose your little bit of lift there, you get a little bit of a sinking action. Just for a moment. Oh yeah, those tires getting nice and dirty. I love it. Alright, our traffic pattern altitude here is 1,000 feet, so
right.
We'll wait till we get to 500 feet and we'll start that crosswind.
Okay. Bird above.
Alright, and when we enter that crosswind, you can make the call, the Manatee traffic, 54067, right crosswind, runway 7.
Manatee traffic, 067, making right crosswind, Manatee traffic.
There you go. Make sure you also remind them which runway you're on. Right crosswind, runway 7.
Yeah.
Nautical to the west, landing runway 01.
There we go. Ooh, get that smoky smell.
Yeah.
All right, we can go ahead. Well, we're probably good to go right into that downwind. So before you make the call, fly the airplane first. So go ahead. You can turn it to the downwind.
Okay.
Just before you make the call.
So you want to call it on pretty much each leg on a CTAF?
For the most part, a lot of times you won't hear people calling crosswind.
Right.
But you really want to call it downwind base final. Those are the ones you really want to call out.
Okay.
And your entry. You want to call your entry.
All right, we're at 1,000.
There we go. Excellent. Targeting about that 250 heading. Perfect. Really nice. All right, we got a runway here.
Okay.
Now that we have aviated,
yes.
Navigate, communicate. So now go ahead and let people know you're in the right downwind.
Manatee, Cessna November 54067 on the downwind for landing at runway 7, Manatee.
And the reason why I had you hold off on that call is because when we fly on the downwind is a relatively long leg, right?
Yes.
And I would wait to start your landing process until you're beam like the middle of the hangars over here, when the wingtips beam the middle of the hangars.
Okay.
But our downwind is a relatively longer leg, so you can make that call. You've had like 30 seconds to make that call, right?
Yes.
Wind 100 at 6 knots with gusts to 10.
All right, I would say we could start that base leg right around now.
Zero traffic, Skyway 746 Juliet, final runway 26.
Manatee traffic, Cessna November 54067 on base, Manatee traffic, runway 7.
Looking real nice so far. We can go ahead and probably get in our last notch of flaps.
Okay.
All right, you got this time. Remember, on our soft field, we want to touch down as softly as possible. So your most key phase of your landing is that transition.
Yeah.
Okay, leveling off above the runway.
Yep.
You are trying your best with the power out. You're trying the best to hold this airplane like a foot or two above the runway as long as possible.
Okay.
So work on that finesse and try to find that sweet spot where you just hold it off there and keeping it aligned with the runway.
Yep.
All right, you see your little buckets there for the start of the runway. Perfect, 65 knots, very nice. Let's get a little bit over here to the right, just a tad. There you go. There we go. All right, so now start easing that power back, get a little bit lower. You want to get as low as you can with that nose up. There you go. That's okay, let the stall warning do its thing. Hold the nose up, nose up. Yeah, that was much better. All right, let's get a little bit here to the right so we avoid that little flag for whatever that's there for.
And I can just put it up to 10 degrees of flaps and leave it there?
Yeah, if you want to. All right, we're going to turn around our bucket.
Yep. Okay.
That was really nice.
Thank you.
But I challenge you, I think you can do it softer. I think you can do it softer.
You're never happy, Zach. Someday I'm going to keel over dead when you just say, Jesus Christ, that was amazing. Let's just quit right here.
Now, the problem is when we get back over to Albert Whitted, I need you to kind of sort of do what you did the first time.
Yeah, plunk it in there.
Do that.
I understand. I think that comes more natural. Those bush pilots just amaze me, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing that actually is kind of helpful with bush pilots, right? So first off, usually they have modifications on their airplanes.
Yeah, they got them big-ass tires.
And they get them super, super slow.
Yeah.
They're able to bring them down really, really, really
And a lot of them
slow.
are really light.
And they're also usually flying in places that are very windy.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, if you are flying with strong winds right in your face where you're flying to, it makes landing a lot easier.
Yeah.
Think about it. If
we had a little bit of that last week when we landed on 3.6.
Exactly. If we have full flaps in this airplane and you have a 20-knot wind right on your nose, your ground speed when you go to touchdown has got to be like 25 knots.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So everything's happening slower. You're still flying, you're still descending, you're still flying your airspeed, pitching your airspeed, whatever, all that jazz. But it's happening slower, so it makes it a little bit easier for you to stay ahead of the airplane and you know, focus on your task at hand.
I watched a video this week. It was some guy flying in Idaho.
Oh, yeah, that would be so cool.
He overflew the airfield, which was not, it was like this.
Yeah.
But it was in like an area surrounded by trees right off of a river with mountains all around. So he flew it over, then he dipped into the valley between, there were small mountains. Then he followed the river, then at the right point, he turned into the trees where the airfield is. I mean, it's freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I give him all the kudos.
The comments, which were from a bunch of other pilots, were like, damn, that's some flying there.
Oh, yeah. All right, so while we're rolling here, go ahead and make that takeoff call.
Okay. Manatee traffic, Skyhawk November 54067, entering runway 7 for flying in the pattern. Runway 7, Manatee traffic.
Awesome, and all the while we're keeping it rolling here. Because we do truly have our soft field this morning between the grass and the grass being wet, so the ground maybe being a little bit damp.
Sure, it's a little softer.
Not soaking wet, but still, you know, it makes it a little bit softer. Exactly. All right, we're keeping it rolling here. Staying frosty on the rudder.
Yep.
Got that back pressure.
Yep.
Excellent. Popping a wheelie. Now, normally you would be looking at your airspeed, but this time on these types of takeoffs, it's more beneficial to just look outside.
Yeah, I gathered that.
Yep, you're keeping that longitudinal stability, or keeping that longitudinal control with your rudder. It's going to happen soon, And there it is. Release that back pressure, and just fly, Maverick style, right above the runway. Release that back pressure. Keep that nose down. There you go. Let that speed build up.
Yeah.
As soon as when you pop off the runway and release that back pressure, well, that's when your eyes go here.
Yeah.
Right? right, once we get to about 200 feet, you go ahead and take those flaps out. Excellent. So, after that takeoff, that was a good takeoff too. So after we just did that takeoff, right?
Yep.
Notice where you were looking, right down the runway, watching when the nose was popping off, right?
Yeah.
When you come in to land this time,
yes.
Remember what that looked like.
Yep.
And notice what it looked like as soon as we popped right off the runway.
Yep.
That's where the airplane should be when you're right before you touch down.
Okay.
All right. So think about that. As soon as you popped off and you're start flying the airplane and you're finessing it now, right? And you're flying right above the runway. It's the exact opposite when you're coming into land. You get it right down there and you have that sight picture. All right, I'm still flying. I'm like a foot or two above the runway. I'm still flying. I'm holding that nose up in the background as it should be. And that's exactly what it should look like, just like the opposite.
Manatee traffic, Skyhawk 067, making crosswind for runway 7, Manatee traffic.
Starting to get comfortable with your CTAF radio calls. I love it.
Yep, I've watched, again, some videos on that.
Nice.
A lot of these schools that I've seen are all CTAF. They don't have a tower.
Oh, yeah, no. A lot of places you learn in Florida, they're CTAF.
Yep.
All right, so remember this time, turn into the downwind first. Remember you got the long leg on the downwind.
Yep.
So you can, this time, aviate, navigate, communicate. Especially because also, too, usually around this point, something else is happening, too.
Sure.
Right? You need to level off.
Right.
So that's why I like, at this point, I like to focus on that first. Make sure I level off, power setting set, heading set, fly that 250, and then I make that, I'm in the downwind.
Manatee traffic, Skyhawk 067 on the downwind, landing on runway 7, Manatee traffic. We're at 1100, I gotta down.
One of my favorite things that I'm hearing you say, and that I'm really happy that you are getting yourself into a habit of saying, is saying the name of the airport first, and then saying it at the end of the transmission.
Yeah, I've seen that on video.
All right, we're back at 1,000 here. We don't need to start descending just yet, so we'll level off here just for a brief moment.
Yep.
Shake it out. Get ready for our landing.
Okay. All right, now
we're in a good position. Yeah, let's go ahead and rock and roll. Let's start that landing process.
Departing from the runway 26. Your direction is the northwest. You are going to have an aircraft coming remotely from the northeast. Just to let you know.
Control traffic service, Airport Juliet, final 36.
Manatee traffic, Skyhawk 067 on base for landing at runway 7, Manatee traffic.
A little bit high this time. Let's go ahead, pull out some power, get your last notch of flaps in.
Yep.
We're not that high, just a teeny tiny bit high. We'll drop it down a little bit here. There we go. Remember what I said, keep in the back of your head, just like when you did your takeoff, right?
Yep.
You pitch for your airspeed, you got yourself down to the runway, right? Now you want to get as low as you can and just holding it off, just like you do when you're taking off. It's just the opposite.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and just pull that power out now. You could probably ride power idle all the way down here.
That's crazy.
Yeah. A little bit higher this time. That's okay. We got plenty of runway.
I mean, it's just crazy you can idle in on an airplane.
Yep. All right, so here it is. Start leveling up, pulling back right here.
Ooh,
Finesse it, pull it back. Now look down the runway, pull it back right here. Pull it back and hold it off right there. There you go. See, right? It's almost the exact opposite when you pop off the runway when you're taking off, right?
Yep.
All right. We'll go ahead and we'll just roll it down here. Don't even need the brakes.
Just roll it down.
Roll around, turn around our buckets over here.
Yep.
See your fancy smancy runway lights too.
Yeah.
All right, you can go ahead and put your flaps up to 10. And we'll turn carb heat off. One other thing I usually like to do at CTAP airports, it's not that big of a deal here because it's really not that busy of an airport, is just announcing that you're clear of the runway.
Okay.
Like I said, you don't need to make it now, but it's just when you start going to like a little bit busier places, because we got plenty of those places here in Florida that are CTAP airports, but man, they are busy CTAP airports. Case in point, Winter Haven, Venice, you go to places like that and it gets popping.
Right.
One thing that I loved seeing on that last landing was that you saw the nose was a little bit crooked and you put in that right rudder.
Yeah.
And you straightened out the nose. That was awesome. That was great. That was back when you were learning your landings, that was a big hurdle that you had to jump.
Yep.
And me seeing you do that on your own, that was awesome, man.
Dude, I feel like a different guy since I soloed.
Yeah, right? I'm telling you, man, with a lot of people, you know, it doesn't matter how long it takes you.
Yep.
When you're flying an airplane, or when you're learning to fly an airplane, one day you hop in, or
Yep.
one day you just have that lesson and you hop in. I had the same thing for me. And it just clicks.
Yeah.
It just all starts. Everything that you learn, everything that you teach yourself, everything that you learn so far and all of our lessons together and everything, it just all starts to click and you're like, oh, all right, I could do this. Yeah.
Everybody asked me that, heard that I soloed. They're like, were you scared? Were you scared? Were you scared? I'm like, no. By the time I did it, we'd done it so many times that, no, I wasn't scared.
Exactly. And, and it's all part of that. It's all part of that confidence boosting and preparedness. And that's exactly, and it really makes me happy to hear that,
No, honest to God, I mean, solo was very routine.
I was so happy that Jim was working the tower that day.
What I was also happy about, and I don't know if I told you, but that last lesson we had when we extended like 2 or 3 times out to the interstate.
Yep.
And you showed me what was up with that.
Yep.
2 of my 3 patterns I got extended. And it was no big deal.
It happens all the time at Albert Whitted. All the time at Albert Whitted. It happens all the time at all Class D airports, especially Class D airports in Florida. All right. We'll go ahead and work our way back up to the northwest here, and we'll go ahead and start doing some short field stuff.
Okay. Manatee traffic, Skyhawk 067, entering runway 7 for takeoff, departing to the northwest.
Very good. Sure, these poor tires are finally like, get me out of these crappy conditions.
Yeah, right? We got one tire on the left here that's like brand new.
Yeah, we go through them pretty quickly, as you could probably imagine. Alrighty, ready to rock and roll now. We'll go ahead and get lined up.
10 degree of flaps.
Yep, you got your 10 degrees. Whoop. Actually, so here it's actually, wait, great lesson. It looks like it's sitting on 10 degrees, but it actually dropped down to 20.
Okay.
So here, let's just finesse that. Make sure it's sitting on that 10.
All right.
There we go.
Up.
Yep. All right, perfect. Adding that right rudder because we're holding our nose up. That left turning tendencies are going to be more pronounced.
Yep.
Very nice. Just using that rudder for directional control. We're looking down the runway. You don't even need to look at the airspeed indicator. Just looking down the runway. And you're waiting for that this airplane to pop off the ground. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. It's usually right around here. And almost there. Give it a little extra encouragement. There you go. And then, perfect.
And I'm taking the flaps up on my own.
There you go. We'll do this Maverick style right here. We'll buzz the cows at the end.
All right. All right, so we're going up to 500.
Yep, we'll go to 500 and then start that turn to the northwest.
Okay.
Especially here because you do have this, it's not too big, but you do have a little bit of a tower right over there.
That's it, yep.
And then what we'll do as soon as we make that left turn and we start departing the area, we'll give one last call. Manatee traffic, Skyhawk 54067 departing the area to the northwest.
Okay. Manatee traffic, Skyhawk 067, departing the pattern to the northwest. Manatee traffic.
All right. Mr. Captain Bill here, Mr. Pilotage.
Yes, sir.
All right. How do we get back to Albert Whitted?
Well, it's pretty obvious.
One of the easiest places to navigate to in Florida is Albert Whitted. On a clear day, you can see the trop from like 50 miles away.
Yeah.
At like 2,000 feet. On a clear day. All right, and since we're not far away, we're going to immediately, let's go ahead right in there and put our tower frequency in there.
Okay. So,
Perfect.
okay.
1,000 feet, let's go ahead and level off. And fly directly to Albert Whitted.